Good evening and welcome to NasCanucks, presented to you by Vibraprint. Visit vibraprintonline.com for all your custom printing needs. Use coupon code Canuck and save 10%. I'm your host, Ben. This is my co-host, Doug. We're the auto racing podcast with a Canadian spin.
Am I here?
You are here, kind of.
My screen went blank for black for a second.
Well, you kind of did that for a sec, so yeah.
I went black, and then there was the wheel of death, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
So we survived the weekend. We were due for some precipitation to just mess with things, because it'd been an off week and precipitation before that. So we had 3 days of racing for 2 races. That took 3 days to run 2 races, including a doubleheader.
My thing is with NASCAR. If you're gonna run stuff in parts, run part 2 of the first before part 1 of the second.
Yeah. Or if you're going to do the doubleheader Sunday, run Xfinity first, then Cup.
They did do that.
Oh,
they started the Xfinity, then they started the Cup, then they finished the Xfinity, then they finished Cup. Well,
they weren't going to start Xfinity on Saturday night. They weren't going to restart the Xfinity race on Saturday night. The advertisers would not be so happy. They're like, we're paying for Cup advertising. You're giving us Xfinity. This is not...
Could go cool. During the day.
Yeah, apparently there was a golf tournament this past weekend too or something. I guess that kind of interfered with sports programming for some people. Whatever. So yes, we got into Friday night action. Full field in the Xfinity Series. Can't be said again for the Cup Series, but full field. We saw some interesting race setups because, you start out running Friday night, end up running after lunch Sunday. So that was fun. Harrison Burton was looking good early.
How about that for the first part Friday night? Hemrick and Gregson running almost side by side the whole night.
Right. And there was, we should mention, there was the phone call the night before. Gregson called Hemrick.
Not taking 2 weeks?
Yeah. Well, and we want to mention too, this is how it was phrased. Noah called Daniel to apologize, explained the situation, and they agreed to disagree. So that tells me Noah called Daniel to tell Daniel what he did wrong. He didn't call to apologize.
Not at all.
No. So his opinion with us did not change going into the race. I will say my opinion of him changed after the race weekend.
Yes. I did hear that Kelly Earnhardt said that Noah needs to figure it out and know when to shut his mouth.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm going to mention too something else. Note to Kelly Earnhardt, if you're watching, if you're not going to bother returning to watch the rest of the race in person, let your brother know so he could attend the race. He would have liked to have gone, apparently. Because, he had said at first he couldn't go due to, limited. They're only allowed so many people, due to COVID restrictions. So Kelly was going, and that was okay because Junior had some stuff going on at the house Friday night. Some renovations that he had to be there on a Friday night. Yeah, renovations of bending that elbow with maybe a Budweiser or two, I'm guessing. I don't think, whatever, Junior, whatever. So then, so then he went to the race, and he's like, oh, man, to quote Dale, oh, man, I wish I was down there to watch that. And Kelly, you were there? How'd it look? She's like, well, we didn't go back. We had other stuff to do. Why didn't you tell me? Well, I don't know. Sometimes siblings just don't know each other that well, I guess.
No.
Give your head a shake, Kelly. Come on now. So, So they got in, but they get in over 100 laps on Friday.
Yeah. They almost finished, halfway through stage 2.
Okay, so they got about 100 and a half in. There was, only about 100 to go. No, because they would have called it then. It would have been official.
No, it has to be at the end of stage 2. to be official.
Oh, it's not halfway anymore?
No, stage 2.
Idiots. Whatever. All right. So anyways, yeah. So Harrison kind of fell off. I'm trying to think, guys, interesting Brown there with the family team, the 68 car. Blaney was mentioning how much of a fan of his he was.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to mention, I heard 2 stupid comments in the booth over the course of the weekend. One was by Mr. Dillon. He's commenting, well, back early in the race, they said blah, 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 and now this is happening. That was on lap 15, Doug. Early in the race? The race started 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Early in the race. All right, sure. Hey, Eddie Van Haskell in the chat. Yeah. So, yeah, that was, and we'll get to the other one. The other one happened on Sunday, Jeff. So, we'll get to that. But, not, there wasn't too much in the way of shenanigans. Well, apparently there were shenanigans. I figure...
Not that we knew.
Yeah, apparently there was a fight that wasn't covered, but there was cameras after the fact, so they were able to post it on social media. The only thing they must have hit each other, like, on the cool down.
No, because they didn't show either one during the race.
No. So, yeah. So, apparently there was a fight between somebody and somebody else. I don't even remember.
One of them being Gray Galding and Joey Gase, I believe.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, Gray Galding. Probably whipped some donuts at him or something. I don't know. Who knows? Welterweight bout at best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and another strong run by Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, they were saying coming down to the closing laps with his career average of second. Not too shabby.
Races. He's got a first and a second.
Yep. He was looking good. Actually, it was quite interesting. Like Austin Dillon made some good comment, like talking to Ty, and he's got this window now to the way Toyota runs things, and you can tell the two of them. And Ty's just like, yeah, and they do this, and we don't get any of that crap from Chevy. And he's like, that's not, huh? Okay. So that was interesting to see. Other than that, I'm trying to think standout guys. Dinger had some problems. Allgaier fought back. Gregson ran clean at the end. Of course, as his teammate said, well, he was running for bigger prize money, which I don't know how you win a Dash for Cash when you don't win a race. It's the best of the rest award.
Yeah, you just had to finish top 4.
Well, I think you just had to finish the best of against the other 3 guys that you're running against.
Yeah, that's thing there's the lead up into it, and then in the race you just have to finish the best of the 4.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Whatever. But yeah, so what's his name? Josh?
You're correct this time.
Yes. Josh Berry.
Running part-time. And we had crying in Victory Lane.
We did. I allow it.
The guy on the phone.
Well, someone had to take over. Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't necessarily the guy who won the race, but the guy on the phone was crying quite a bit. Which is odd. And the funny thing is, Junior, God bless him, he's almost like, the most lovable idiot in the world. Because, he watches the race and he sees this driver in Victory Lane and he's all teary-eyed. He's like, it'd be cool. Rick Hendrick always calls the guys down there. How do you do that? I don't know, Dale. You pick up your phone and dial them? Like, how do we make that happen? What do we do? Like, you just want to be Junior's personal assistant, It's like, hey, how do we get ice cream on cake? Well, Dale, we take a scoop of ice cream, we put it on. God, it's brilliant. This is great. You get a raise, Yeah. It can't be the hardest job in the world, pleasing Junior, but, he was bawling his eyes out. Barry, it was funny that, they're like, hey, you got quite the crowd reaction here. He goes, yeah, half that's my late model team and the other half's family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was great to see him win. Part-timer, due to lack of funding, basically.
Well, now that comes into the other part is Junior Nation is now pushing NASCAR to
Pretty
put them in the
expected.
playoffs.
Yeah. Now, you have an opinion, and I have an opinion. So I'm going to let you have your opinion first. Should Josh Berry be in the playoffs?
I won't make this long. No. Plain and simple. Allmendinger had the big couple wins last year.
I was going to say, Mr. Lawyer here, you got the legal precedent. Dinger didn't get in.
Dinger didn't get in.
Nope. I, on the other hand, and I'm not saying change it to allow him in, but the way I see it, I love that David Pearson deal. Like, if I can run 17 races and qualify for your playoffs, well, guess what? I'm that good.
Well, okay, but then it comes down. Now, when Sam Mayer takes over the car,
yeah,
and he wins a race, who's driving the 8 in the playoffs?
Whoever's higher in the standings between the two of them. Tiebreaker. Or, because it's a driver's playoff, Junior Motorsports can go, hey, Allgaier, you sucked the pouch the last 2 months. You didn't make the playoffs. Guess what? You're out of a ride for the next 10 weeks. Or you run the 0-8. Hey, Terry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't like the playoffs anyways. So I think it's a whole mute point to begin with.
Doesn't really matter what you think right now. It's a no.
Yeah. It's the whole thing's malarkey anyway. So what the hell? Yeah. Whatever. I look at the true champ. You know who the true champ is? That guy who wins that last race before the playoffs. Because that's a whole season right there. There's, point style airing. Get rid of the damn heat races for these manufactured cautions. But anyways, let's continue on. So, Josh Berry wins. Noah Gragson came up, wished him congrats in victory lane. It's fine,
and he wasn't a dink in his interview. I was waiting for it because he was looking around. He looked around, and it's like, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And a follow-up, which was interesting because I don't think he knew it at the time, was, he's like, I won $100,000. No, you didn't. Because apparently, at least for that team, that check's created. That's the same as like the winning purse money. You get a percentage of it as driver. Even though they say he gets it. And so what happened was that whole $100,000 got then donated, I believe, into like there's an organization helping race teams, like members that work at the shops that are reduced hours due to COVID, blah blah blah. So they're spreading it out. And he said he's also including his percentage as well in that, which I thought was kind of weird the way the tweet was. Yeah, we're donating this money and I'm going to donate my percentage too. So in other words, the team was going to donate the money already and you decided to donate your portion and then tweet it out as it was your idea. That's why you only moved up a little bit in my book.
I want to feel that maybe he was told that he was going to be doing that.
Yeah, well after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what happened there. I notice we're not going in complete chronological order of the weekend because we just skipped over the 80 laps of the Cup race in between. So, trying to think any other news or notes out of the Xfinity stuff there. I didn't.
Not that I've heard so far.
Other than pit reporter for the weekend, birthday on Friday, Jamie Little had her birthday on Friday. So there we go. So let's get into Cup action.
Well, before Cup action became the question, who was going to win the race? Because Blaney and Austin Dillon were in the booth.
Right. Speaking of which, had a hard time recognizing Blaney in the booth without any facial hair. I don't like the clean-cut Blaney. Like, he had stubble, but, there's no big old Fu Manchu sticking out at me or a smelly evil villain mustache maybe or something. Then you got Austin Dillon that's got his full hawk into a fade, into a gay beard thing. I don't know. Sorry, no offense to the gays. I'm sure your beards are nice.
But for me, it was a throwback to the Netflix series, The Crew.
Yep.
Because those guys always made an appearance together.
Yep. Yeah, and you could tell, and we've heard Austin in the booth a couple of times now. And we've heard Blaney in the booth quite a few times. There was definitely a looser atmosphere. Like, you hear Adam Alexander was taking a back seat an awful lot and letting them just call the race, essentially, which was cool, because I forgot how much of a moron Austin Dillon was for 20 minutes at a time. Because he was basically pulling a Jeff Gordon. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. So, yeah. So I'm thinking early action in the Cup race. Yeah, Blaney.
Now, I did not get to see the first couple laps.
Right. I did.
So.
I did. Early action. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, the Penske car, it was kind of a lot of the usual suspects for the most part. And that was kind of throughout the day. And, we had some beating and banging. Speaking of which, okay, so boneheaded comment during the Cup race. Jeff Gordon says, because guys, by halfway through the race, because there was quite a few cautions every 20, 30 laps, some guys were pitting somewhere. And Jeff goes, well, tires don't really make a difference out there, because they kind of fall off and they do leave a little bit of rubber down. And once they do heat up and expand, your lap times will suffer. So tires do make a difference. And I'm like, you literally started the paragraph with they don't make a difference and end it with they do make a difference. And they could not turn on that camera shot in the booth because Clint's going, what?
That's an oxymoron without the oxy.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Beating and banging.
It seemed like the Penske cars though were strong Saturday night, and then they just fell off the page Sunday afternoon.
Nah, well, they were running in and around 10
to begin with, because Logano fell way back.
Yeah, well, it seems like they all had issues. That's what it seems like, because there was always, it seemed like Logano and Blaney every 100 laps would be running for 8th place, and then they get shuffled back, and then they get up, and Brad. Kind of same deal, but not kind of on his own. He was up and down as well until he had issues. I'm trying to think. I think my favorite incident happened involving your guy damn near being taken out. That happened before the big one because I want to cover the big one as well.
Yeah.
It was before the big one, which you could hear the boys in the booth called it live like they could read Joey's thoughts because Joey saw a bit of an opening, so he gave your boy Martin a shove into the corner to send him off, and I'm going to ahead.
Yep.
And Martin somehow saved it a bit.
He snapped her back.
And Joey went, you know what? I'm just going to ease off the gas a little bit down this straightaway. Screw Kyle Larson all over my ass. I'm just going to let Martin. Come on in, Martin. Come on in. I'm going to pull a Tony Stewart. Just wave you on in. Just come on. Smartest move Joey Logano has made in his career. In the booth, they knew it too because they're like, that was a smart move, Joey, because Martin was going to just take you out.
Yep.
And Dad and me were talking about that today while I was cooking dinner. He goes, you watch the races? Yep. He goes, I can't believe someone didn't pull a Matt Kenseth during that race. I said, Martin was thinking about it. He goes, yep, Martin was thinking about it.
Yeah. It became like, there was the big one. It seemed like there was Talladega.
Well, in the big one, that's just due to logistics. And by logistics, I mean, I have a photo. Thank you. This is almost the entire track width, including the, kind of apron. And the track is literally 3 car lengths wide. So if you park 2 of them side by side like that, nobody got any place to go.
No.
And when
on that one, I think Buescher did come down on Kyle.
Yeah.
To start that off.
A lot of that. A lot of guys were doing the old boom, boom, boom from the high side, crowding in. And I'm thinking, aren't you just poking a bear by doing that? Because if we go into the next set of corners side by side, I'm not turning left. And you're gone. And we saw a lot of that. Ask Ryan Newman. Ask his left rear quarter how that was working out for him.
I think I don't want to say the funniest, but the most humorous one of that, and he even said it in the interview afterwards, was the video of Suarez standing on the pit wall, kind of like,
"Hey, EMTs,
my car's on fire. Why is there nobody here?"
Well, you know what? And I thought I had a little tinge in my head. And of course, I'm not going to mention on air, a little dig at Daniel Suarez, but I thought, well, what if he was trapped in the car?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's the simple thing right there. Because they go, oh, well, he's out of the car. Let it burn for a minute while we clean up that. No, there's a car on fire. You have the potential for an explosion, which there was when the left front tire blew out because it blew oil elsewhere. And you can see, and that's what caused the fireball. And apparently, what's Clint's name? Willie B. Yeah. Willie B seemed to be a marked man because we got to see our first water bottle of the season thrown. That was kind of nice to see.
Yeah, we did.
It's a rare, these days we see more fights than water bottles thrown or helmets or anything like that.
I think Daniel would have been better off to put that water bottle on his car.
Well, that was Clint's recommendation. I think you should put that water bottle on your hot rod. Which I noticed Clint was calling everything a hot rod on Sunday. That's how you know when Clint's having a good time.
Yeah.
Especially, what was it, the 14 and 24, they were running and they were beating a bang, and a little bit he goes, oh, we've seen this before. He's just doing one of these.
Yeah.
We've seen that before, haven't we, Jeff? Yeah. Or just false modesty, they're like, well, that 24 car, it's had this many wins here. And he goes, yeah, with his little chuckle. I was like, yeah, your fake laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a variety. Denny Hamlin looking strong.
Yep.
But brake issue, you could tell his brakes were failing because everybody was killing him going into the corners. But he had the momentum off. He had the corner off set up. But your boy was just turning through the corner.
How about those final 40 laps?
Yeah, that was great. Because what were they were showing some little probably Penske battle between Blaney and Clint's like, we got a battle for the lead, boys. Somebody needs to get a camera on this.
Oh,
and as soon as he said that, I looked at the ticker, and it said, Hamlin or whoever was in second. It said 1.14, which is up on the rear quarter. I'm like, he's got a wheel inside. Like, let's get. I was surprised they didn't even do a split screen because they were two good battles going on at the time.
Martin couldn't get it. I started the pacing, and you know what? Look back at that battle he had with Denny. How many times did they touch?
I think literally they touched twice. And I mean literally touched. Because there was a few, they would get close, but it'd be one of those little just a touch or a kit, like going into the corner. I'm not going to bump you, but just enough that you might push in the plastic just a hair for a second, like nothing that you would even feel. But Martin was thinking about moving him. Martin was getting frustrated because Martin let Coach know in the interview. He went, "Hey, it is going to be an easy meeting on Monday."
Again, it was clean racing.
Yep.
Fun, exciting. He didn't have to,
what the thing is, if that same finish, if we were looking at the same thing 3 definitely, but even 2 years ago, somebody would have touched some. They would have I'm not saying they both would have wrecked, but one guy would have wrecked because neither one is known as a dirty driver. But both are known that they will move somebody for the win, but not necessarily wreck them for the win, but move them for the win.
The only thing I didn't like about that whole situation was how close they let Logano get to them.
That's true, because Logano would have taken both.
One of you guys got to go because you're going slow enough to catch him.
Yeah,
right.
That's my biggest fear when you got Logano or Chase Elliott rolling up on you because they don't give a fly.
No, it wasn't Logano. It was Chase. Chase was catching him. And I was like,
same thing.
Don't like that.
Yeah,
especially
these
him.
Guys will wreck their best friend for a win.
then
And Martin didn't cry
Martin
again.
Then Martin got by him. And then, and I'm sitting with Carmen's actually watching the race with me, and she's like, she is starting to not like Chase, and she's like, wreck him. I'm like, no, don't, just side by side to give Martin that room to go.
Yeah.
But
well, that was kind of like we had like earlier in the day with Josh Berry. They said, how much were you hoping Gregson didn't wreck somebody while you're leading the race? He's like, no kidding. Like, you could tell that was the gist of the question and the answer. Yeah, don't be a moron. Just keep her straight. And I was surprised, like we would see it in the Xfinity race. They were beating and banging with those composite bodies, and they were holding up pretty good. But I'll be damned, those look at Ryan Newman and Kyle Busch battling for top 10 at the end of the race. And both, between the two of them, they had, I don't know, maybe a car and a half between the three of them, or two of them.
Yep.
Well done by both those guys. They're doing well. Those Roush cars, like you say, they're there. They're making power or something. I don't know what it is, but they're doing well. Another pretty good day for Gibbs. Although Eric Jones was having some issues, but certain guys were.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Eric Jones doesn't matter.
No. You don't think he matters? Oh, wait, right. He's for Petty now. Whoever the other guy is now, it took his ride.
Christopher Bell.
Oh, right. Yeah, he was up in the top 10 towards the end.
Yep.
Somehow, some way. Bubba Wallace led some laps again.
Our first multiple winner of the year.
Yes, breaking the streak. Multiple winner, Martin Truex.
And I'll say it now, the first car that's won multiple races in the last 6 or 7 years has made it to at least the final four or been the champion.
Well, and he's got a really good shot next week at becoming the first 3-time winner of the season too, because he's won 3 of the last 5 at Richmond.
Well,
you remember when Martin was only known as Mr. Intermediate, can't win a short track to save his life?
Can't win a short track. And and that's where I want to go back. I said to you I had a little bit of a rant. And that's why I wanted to go back to last year. We had people even coming in the stream saying, you know what, James Small's got to go. And I was saying, give it time. They can't do any practicing. They can't really do anything together. Mm-hmm. Give them time because, with the way they were going, that was the same start that Martin had with Cole. Right?
Yeah.
And now look at look what happened year 2 with Cole. Look what's happening year 2 with James Small.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't jump on that guy. He's not a Pat Tryson. He's not that other dink that was the first time at Furniture Row that he had as a crew chief. I totally forgot his name because he was so
Chad
horrible.
Johnson?
No. Before Chad.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget now. And he doesn't even matter anymore because it was a guy that just, Martin would be begging for.
Wasn't Todd Berrier?
That'd be it.
Yeah, that was like Todd's last job.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Todd was a barrier that whole season.
Well, and I thought he was rather long in the tooth for that job. Anyway, like crew chiefs do, a certain time it passes them by. Like the setups are different. I don't know what it is, but crew chiefs do age out. And he was one of his last couple stints at Childress. He was the guy they would bring in, as a last ditch effort after they fired somebody. And the team never improved under him. It just maintained its 27th place after, or whatever, So we got that going on. So before we wrap things up, we should talk about a few things here. We're going to unveil the next gen cars soon with the actual manufacturer identifications. Also, I saw a throwback paint scheme for Darlington. Whoever drives the 48 in the Xfinity series is running a Dan Gurney paint scheme.
Okay.
Yeah, I just remember that much. What else? Any other news there? Because we got all 3 series running this weekend at Richmond to wrap up the short track stretch of the year. Who do we like in trucks? Kyle Busch is entered.
Kyle has entered.
Yeah.
I gotta go with him.
I'm thinking John Hunter's going to have another good run. He seems strong. And Brett Moffitt, too. Brett Moffitt. Xfinity, who do we like?
I'm trying to think who's running. Yeah, Ty Dillon's not back in the car until Talladega.
That's correct.
So I think is Ty Gibbs back in again?
I don't know. That I don't know. I'm going to go with Jeb Burton. Jeb was doing pretty damn good last week. They had some issues.
Well, I'm thinking it's another sort of short track, so I'm looking maybe possibly Josh Berry to go back to back.
That would be nice, because that will just set the whole social media thing. Well, come on now. He's got 2. You got to let him in, Doug. He's got 2. Come on now, Doug. Nope. Ain't going to happen.
Not at all.
All right. I assume you're going to be taking your boy in the Cup Series.
I'm taking him. Because he's really turned himself around at these other tracks, like with Richmond and Martinsville.
Yeah,
and
like, you know what? We'll continue status quo. You take your boy, I'll take Hamlin again. Because I think it's going to be a lot of a repeat. I think, Ryan Blaney, if he does, doesn't have that penalty near the end, that'll help.
Hamlin is a hometown boy as well as Richmond.
Yep. Exactly. And I like watching the mannerisms of Hamlin now at post race. They always seem to have a camera on him because all of a sudden he's become the Earnhardt. Like, where they'll just put a camera on him. They don't need to say anything. And Hamlin, you can tell he's at that point in his career. Like, he's got that Tony Stewart-ism to him. Well, more of a Jimmy Johnson. Like, he's lean. He still looks sick. He looks gaunt and sick because he's underweight compared to traditional Denny. So he's taking care of himself that way. He's got shit taken care of at home by the sounds of things. Outside the track, life is down pat. The new business is not affecting him. If anything, it's driving him more. Because I could just see this maturity. And, like when he's getting out of the car, you could just tell me, it's like, well, that one got away. And there's not a whole lot more. Like, you can tell I've got this 2 to 3 year window where I have to do it now. And I think throughout the season, that's just going to build more and more, like we've seen in the last couple of years with Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart, these veteran guys, when it's going to get down to be July, let's say, and Hamlin's going to be probably in the top 10 in points, but he realized, you know what? This is the year. I got to do it. This is my year. And he's going to just focus. So that's my prediction. Anything else we should pass along?
I don't think so. I haven't really heard much.
No, it's been kind of quiet. Yeah. Well, that happens with the delayed. Everything gets delayed a bit, right? And
yeah.
So, we should touch on one last thing before we go. The rumor, if you want to call it a rumor, question was posed: will JR Motorsports be moving up to Cup?
Oh, I see that. Yes. Yes.
Junior said it perfectly, and I fully agree, and it makes sense the rumors come up, and we've discussed it. With the new car coming out next year, everybody's essentially on the same. Hey, Marcus.
Oh, crap! Who that is?
I see that. What's up, Marcus?
He's finally talked after being.
Yes, you just had to mention Junior Motorsports. That's it, right?
Yeah, of course. You mentioned Junior, and Marcus shows up.
Yeah, so with the new next-gen car coming out next year, everybody's kind of on the same page, so for cost and this and that. So in theory, if he was going to move up, this would be the year to do it, right? Because we knew, like, the stupidest thing in the world, unless you can get a deal on old gear, you wouldn't start a team this year. Why build a fleet of cars that become obsolete in a year? However, although we did have 2 new teams come in, but
although we should ask the friend of Junior, Marcus, is he going Cup next year?
Is he going Cup, Marcus?
Because
do you
Marcus
think
is the guy who will know.
Yeah, And you know
Instead of
what?
like a first
I
name
could
basis
see
with him.
Junior fielding, like his dad did, that single cup car to start with. And they were just out there for fun. Like, as much as they, like, if Junior looked at it that way, like, I'm going to be the Jimmy Beans type to start with. Like, we just want to race in and finish top 30, or something like that. So,
Yeah.
I would be curious to see on that. He said, like, we definitely need more support, which means we need sponsors to be able to do it. So, they do have the corporate contacts there enough that they could do, like, kind of like with Allgaier's car and a lot of, like the sponsor of the week.
The only way they could really do it for sure, it would be to make Marcus happy and put Junior in the car for 2 races a year, possibly 3. That's going to give you your whole cup budget for a year.
True. And especially if they get Bass Pro Shops involved too.
You got to stay with Martin. You can't go there.
Yeah, but I wouldn't doubt, Junior's got the involvement with him too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Don't want to talk about that though.
Yeah. It's probably Junior that helped get Martin involved with the old BSP or BPS in the first place.
Probably. With well, look at this car that this a nice gentleman sent me. The Dale Jr. Actually, sorry, no, he sent me the one car from the Dale Jr.
Didn't they say on Sunday that's the first time the 8 car has been in victory lane for Xfinity since Junior put the car in victory lane?
Exactly, yeah.
So Mark says, don't think he's going. His sister a while back said they would stay, but who knows? Exactly. Yeah, like if some company says, here's $30 million, let's go nuts.
And like Marcus said, yeah, 3. If he'd do 3 races, and he'll get because he does 1 Xfinity race, and that's their Xfinity budget for the year.
Yep. It's not hard to dangle as much as say, okay, do the Daytona race, do the 500, do the Bristol Dirt race, and he'd probably want to do a road course. I wouldn't doubt. Or the Martinsville night race.
Well, we know that he does want to do the Martinsville night race in the Xfinity Series.
Right. So he might as well do it in the Cup race, too. That way, he'll be at the track for when his car wins. See, if he was
competing, it wouldn't be him?
Yeah. True, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Josh wouldn't have won. All right. Well, there we are. Anything to add? Wrap up? This, that, the other thing?
Just if you're into diecast cars, check out my cornhole show. I've got Eric Charney, who's in the Diecast Hall of Fame.
Yes.
He's also a cornhole player.
Yes.
So check that out.
Definitely.
He does a whole bunch of other name dropping that he's worked with as well. But, yeah.
Exactly. Well, there we go. On behalf of Doug, I'm Ben. Thanks for watching NasCanucks, your auto racing podcast with a Canadian spin, presented by Vibraprint.
And
cheers, rock on.
See you, Marcus.